Hello everyone, Alec DeLorean here, and I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. Now in today's video we're going to go through the best build for Iron Man in Marvel's Mystic Mayhem, but before we get into it, if you would like to join the Discord, the link's in the description below. And if you enjoyed this video, this content and all things Marvel related, be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the video. Okay, so let's go through the best build for Iron Man. First of all, we'll go through the contents and what we will go through. But before I go through all of that, mysticmayhem.gg is where I get a lot of my information from. If you don't know what that is, I highly recommend going to it straight after or right now of this video. It has a lot of data for the best characters, best artifacts, best highlights in the game. There's also a tier list so you know who's generally better. Not for specific modes in the game, but just overall, which characters are used more than others. So I do get a lot of information like that from this, which really helps, and huge shout out to them. But in terms of the actual contents of this video, we'll go through the best artifacts, highlights, stats, and then also the Soul Saga route, and then we'll also discuss the passives, the skills, passives, and the best team synergies for that character. So starting off with the best artifacts, we do have three that I think will go really well with Iron Man, which is Midnight Gun, the Hand Shuriken, and Unstable Molecules. Now all three are pretty decent for Iron Man, as he's just a whole load of AoE damage. He's kind of like Thor, really specializes in AoE. Midnight Gun increases wearer's crit damage by 18%. Hand Shuriken increases the wearer's crit rate by 12%, and then Unstable Molecules increases the wearer's attack by 10%. Now you can have two on at the same time maximum. So you can choose any of these. If you really want to do a crit Iron Man, then putting the Hand Shuriken and Midnight Gun on is really good. But if you're just going out all out on damage, then you could do Midnight Gun and Unstable Molecules, because you might not want the extra crit rate, you might want the extra damage. So it's really up to you that whichever ones you want, but these are generally the three best for Iron Man at the minute. Next up is the best highlights. So there is two here that are legendaries, so these might be very hard to come by, so you might not get these straight away, but they're definitely ones to look out for whoever you want to use for when you get to that point, I mean. So the first one is Suit Up. The wearer's crit rate is increased by 20% when the wearer deals physical damage to enemies with HP above 80%. Their crit rate is increased by 20%. Additionally, additional effect when equipped by Iron Man. After the wearer defeats an enemy, their attack is increased by 20% for 10 seconds. Now, Iron Man is an AoE, so you're pretty much guaranteed to have the attack always up, because you're never going to be using Iron Man for single target stuff. Next up is Fighters 1. The wearer's attack is increased by 20%. Crit rate increases by 16% if their HP is above 80%, which is very good, because you've always got that 20% increased attack, which is very nice. And if you're above 80%, what you want to do is use Doctor Strange's ultimate, heal everyone up, and then boom, you get your extra 16% crit rate when you use your ultimate. But if you don't have the legendaries, the best rare for you would be Rays like the Phoenix. What this one does is the wearer's crit rate is increased by 20% for each allied character of a different class on the field. The wearer's attack is increased by 2%. So that's up to a maximum of 4%, but you're mostly getting it for the crit rate, I guess. Yeah, so if you have a tank and a support, then you're going to get that extra 4% increase, which is very nice. But if you also don't have this one, then the best blue is definitely Make a Dream, which raises the crit rate by 16% for the character, which is very nice. So Iron Man definitely has like a starting point and then a route where you want to go, and then at the end you choose between two legendaries. So the best stats for him is very similar to Thor, in that the crit rate / damage is definitely the best, so crit rate and crit damage, sorry. And then next up is physical damage, and then finally attack percentage. But most of all, you're definitely going for a crit for Iron Man, because you're buffing him a lot with other characters, and then you get that increased crit rate and damage, so you're going to be pumping out a lot of damage on all of the little minions. The best Soul Saga route is kind of a mishmash at the very beginning, but then you finish off the next two after that. So we start with Heart 1 and Mind 1, because both starting ones are pretty decent. And then I would prefer to finish off Heart before Mind. So you go Heart 2, Heart 3, then Mind 2, Mind 3, then Soul. But then again, like I said, this is, you have to be getting a lot of Iron Man in your pulls. So getting all of this done will be quite a task. But if you are a Kraken or if you are a whale, then definitely this is a good route to follow. And then his skills. His skills are quite fun. So the first one is Unibeam, and this one is a free cost. Moves to the target location and deals physical physical damage to enemies in a line. Enhancement increases the range. So this one is a single line. Basically you dash anywhere, so you can line up your shots to get the most value out of it, and it just deals damage to anyone caught in that line. The enhancement increases the range, and I think it pretty much makes it wider as well. And then Blaster Array is 4, but if you were to do the Soul Saga, you can actually reduce this by 1. Blaster Array deals physical damage to enemies in the target area. Enhancement partially ignores enemies' defense. Now this is, of the 2 skills, Blaster Array is your big heavy hitter damage, as it's very, very good damage, and the range on it is quite wide. And obviously if you get the enhancement, then you can ignore the defense, you're going to be getting even more damage. And then his ultimate is Iron Legion. It's a very satisfying ultimate because it covers a wide range and it just deals so much damage to the area. It's very similar to Thor's ultimate, but instead of the hammers falling down, it's his Iron Legion. Deals physical damage to enemies in the target area. Very, very good. It's a slow build because it's a 400 energy cost, but once you do get it out, it melts enemies. And then next up is his passives. So the first one is Arc Reactor. Iron Man gains 1 stack of Arc Pulse when an ally uses a free cost skill up to 4 stacks. At 4 stacks of Arc Pulse, Iron Man's next skill will be enhanced, consuming all 4 stacks and dealing 64% more damage. The main part is 64% more damage, but obviously if we go back to the skills, that you get the enhanced version, so it increases the range or ignores enemies' defense. So what you want to be doing is waiting to get the 4 stacks and then use Blaster Array to absolutely melt anyone in that area. Next up is Tech Upgrade, which increases the crit rate of Unibeam and Blaster Array by 10%, which is very, very nice. Both skills get increased crit rate by 10%, and it's a passive, like there's no downfall to it. Very, very good upgrade. And the next one is New Energy. Gains 1 mana after using Enhanced Unibeam or Enhanced Blaster Array, which will be very good to unlock once you get to that point, as essentially you're paying 1 less cost for both of the skills at that point, as long as you're doing the enhanced version. And then lastly is the Armor Overdrive. At the start of the battle, gain 2 stacks of Arc Flux. So you can get to enhancement very, very fast for that. So you want to be using your other character skills first, then use Iron Man once you hit the 4 stacks at the beginning of the game. And the best team synergies is he's pretty decent at, well, he's AoE, so he's pretty decent as a solo DPS if you're going through Memento, if you're going through the story missions, stuff like that. So what you need really is either 2 people to buff him, so Emma Frost and Doctor Strange, to buff him if he can stay alive or your team can stay alive well in the matches. But if you are struggling to keep everyone alive, then you want to throw in a tank. At this point, Juggernaut and the newly added Captain America are both very, very good. But if you don't have them, Hulk is fine. So these are the best team synergies. I recommend doing Iron Man plus Emma Frost and Doctor Strange in a lot of the modes in the game until you get to the point where people are dying too easy, then throw a tank in there. And that's generally how I play. Like at the minute, I've been doing Thor. I've been running Thor and these 2 until I get to a point where I can't get past it, and then I throw in a tank to see if I do any better. So there is Iron Man's best build. I hope you take away something from this video. I hope it helps everyone. Let me know in the comments below if it did, or even so, let me know in the comments below if I missed anything out. But I won't keep you any longer though. So if you would like to join the Discord, the link is in the description below. And if you enjoyed this video, this content, and all things Marvel related, be sure to like and subscribe. And I will see you in the next video.